According to Gallup, 7 million people have lost their health insurance under the Trump administration. You guys have heard me make that point before. I think it's a devastating fact, and it's not discussed nearly enough. Those are 7 million human beings who lost their health insurance. If I was a Democratic representative, I would bash Trump and the Republicans over the head with this fact every day, and I do everything I can in my power to change that. But that's not the only shocking new fact about our health insurance system and our health care system in this country. I have some numbers for you here that are just, that will make any reasonable person gasp and their jaw hit the floor at how backwards everything is. So Bob Henley in Salon writes the following. The average premium for family coverage has increased 22% over the last 5 years and 54% over the last 10 years, significantly more than either workers' wages or inflation, according to an annual survey by the Kaiser Foundation of employer-sponsored health coverage. It's worth noting that would reflect the sector of employer-provided healthcare programs that centrist Democrats like Biden, Pete Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar maintain Americans love so much. The Kaiser survey provides a uniquely detailed analysis and is based on more than 2,000 interviews with public and private firms. It reported that annual premiums for employer-sponsored healthcare plans reached $20,576 this year, an increase of 5%, with workers on average paying $6,015 towards the cost of their coverage. More. Deductibles have increased by 36% over the last 5 years and 100% over the last 10 years. Deductibles have doubled in price since just 2009. That's unbelievable. In a study that was published in May of this year in the Journal of General Internal Medicine, researchers concluded that 137 million Americans struggled with medical debt. That's like 40% of the country struggled with medical debt. 40% of the country. Jesus Christ. In August, U.S. News and World Report said the drugs prescribed to treat multiple sclerosis, which cost $8,000 to $11,000 per year, that's the range of what they cost in the 1990s, now cost $80,000 a year. The price of drugs for multiple sclerosis went up 10 times. Unfathomable, man. Also, when it comes to borrowing, $88 billion was borrowed in 2018 to cover healthcare costs. $88 billion. This is why, what's that crazy fact? Something like, I don't know if it's the majority of fundraising on GoFundMe is for medical bills. A record 25% of Americans say that they or a family member have put off treatment for a serious medical condition in the past year. 25% because of the cost, up from 19% a year ago, and the highest in the history of Gallup's trend. So in 2018, 19% of Americans put off treatment because of the cost. 2019, 25% of Americans said, I want to get something, but I can't. Costs too much. And then, of course, there's the fact that we've referenced on the show a million times. We have 500,000 medical bankruptcies in this country every year. And we have up to 45,000, 32,000 to 45,000 deaths every year from lack of coverage. So understand, guys, these facts I just gave you, these numbers I just gave you, are just so incredibly out of whack with the rest of the industrialized world. These are like nightmare, worst case scenario kind of numbers. And your government is doing nothing to fix it, and in fact, they're actively moving in the wrong direction. Obamacare was a terrible reform, and it had many problems. But it definitely was a little step in the right direction, because at least you had, up to 30 million more people who were covered? Well, now with the Trump administration and the repeated knives to the back of Obamacare, now, again, 7 million people have lost insurance under Donald Trump. And prices are skyrocketing yet again, whether it's the pharma prices, whether it's the actual health insurance plans. And again, a lot of these plans can be expensive and still not cover that much. That's how broken our system is. And if you hear these numbers and you're not shocked, you're not stunned, you're not immediately on the side of Medicare for all, I don't know what to tell you, man. Nothing makes the case better for Medicare for all than just knowing the current facts about our abysmal healthcare and health insurance system. That's the reality. Now, you mix that in with the fact that the Commonwealth Fund has the U.S. ranked 11th out of 11 when it comes to the healthcare systems of countries in the developed world. And of course, the top are just all riddled with various universal healthcare systems. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, man. It couldn't be any more clear. This is as clear as it will ever get. It couldn't be any more obvious. Now, by the way, all these numbers I just gave you, don't think you're going to see this on CNN or MSNBC or Fox News or even the nightly news. They're not going to give you these in-depth numbers that I just gave you. But I hope some of these are permanently lasered into your memory, and you can bring them up to your friends and your family, because the status quo is just unacceptable. And the fact that anybody's comfortable with it, and the pharma companies are, and the executives of the health insurance companies are, the fact that anybody's okay with it is borderline criminal.